certainly does. You know, it's it takes a long time to build a defence like that, and it takes everybody that comes through, and you pick them on attack and you build them into a defensive team, and they worked hard. You know, I've sort of talked about it early on, which different people had their opinions on about the building our house, laying the foundations, and the foundations were defence. And under the biggest moments, those foundations come to the fore. That's what, under pressure, that's what you perform, is the stuff that you know really well, and that's what we know really well. We did that well, and then the execution of the plays, we took our opportunities, and the vision of the guys was good. You could see the confidence was high with the ball as well.
Rob, have you seen a braver performance in the football field than Coopers tonight?
Never. I've seen guys get injured in games, but I haven't seen a guy fracture his scapula, you know, a complete break through the scapula, and then play 60 minutes with it, and then have to deal with it all week, have 4 different lots of injections during the week. But I've never seen a guy as mentally strong as Cooper Cronk. You know, it's legend status in our game, it's not an understatement. What that guy had to do this week to get there, it was incredible, and we got to witness it. I was observing every day, and it was just to watch a man go through that was awesome. To observe that, it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain in words. We got to watch it, and to do that, and for him to go out there and do what he did, lots of people delivered a premiership for us, but what he did last week and this week was incredible.
When did you know? When did you know if you were right?
Oh, Coops and I had a conversation Friday morning, and it was Coops' way of saying, he it doesn't matter how Coops feels, he judges it based on, can I do this or not? Like, none of the emotion came into it all. And he just went, I don't think I will be able to do this with the way that this is feeling. And then Friday afternoon, he went and tried another style of treatment, and he rang me on the way home, a bit giddy, as giddy as Cooper gets, and said, I think I'll be right to play. And Friday night, walked in Saturday morning, because I said, okay, that's great. Walked in Saturday morning, and he couldn't train because it would have been too sore the next day from the Friday night, so he couldn't train all week. And he, obviously, the pictures would have shown that he was standing out the back on Saturday, and that wasn't because we were foxing, it's because he couldn't physically train. But he said, I'll be right. And it's just, we're so lucky. As a coach, I'm hopefully coaching for a while, but I've been really blessed to come across a guy like that and watch someone suffer and perform like that.
Cooper, you said it was a need-to-know basis. Now, can you run us through how you were feeling? Also, I think Trent just said 4 different types of injections during the week, different treatments.
Yeah, I'll start from the beginning. This club and everyone involved from the top to the bottom sacrificed a hell of a lot for me to come here and play football. They made that decision, and my personality is that I took a whole lot of responsibility on that. From Nick, Trent, all the way down to the senior players to the last person on our list. Every one of them sacrificed something for me to be here. So my duty was to try and repay them a little bit of faith. And in terms of the injury, it was sore. As Robbo said, to describe it. There was a conversation that I basically wasn't going to be able to hold up my end of the bargain. And then Hail Mary landed on our doorstep and got a chance. And to be honest, on Friday night, I have to give my wife a fair bit of credit, because she basically told me, what are you carrying on about? You've just been given a chance to play in a grand final, so suck it up. And I basically took that advice and did it. So, there was some injections, there was some ice, there was some treatment, but it was all based around these guys sacrificing something for me to come and play for the club, and that was my job of trying to repay the faith.
What was the treatment that Trent referenced that turned around for you?
Obviously there's some local to numb the pain, there was just a different style and a different direction and one hell of a lot of local to go in. That's simply it.
Where did that high pain tolerance come from? Where's your high pain? Did you not wear thongs when you
No, I think it just comes back to my responsibility. Like, you know, these guys, I'll say it again, they sacrificed a hell of a lot for me to come. You know, there was a lot of stories, there was a lot of innuendo, a lot of conspiracy about everything, but at the end of the day, my job was to repay the sacrifices they had to suffer for me to come. And it's not about pain tolerance or anything, it's just about respect to the group and what they did for me, and that's basically what it come down to.
Cooper, what's the price of this? I guess, do you need surgery after this, or what happens from here?
I didn't really want to think about it, to be honest. The way you go about it is just one foot in front of the next and get it done. I'll speak to the doc after. I didn't really want to understand that. I didn't want to know about it. It was just about what I had to do to play tonight.
Were you risking your career? Were you risking a career for it?
No. It was no.
How do you think it's going to feel?
Terrific. No, I was obviously going to be sore, but I'll deal with it.
Did you ever think it wasn't worth the risk, like the goal runner, potentially not passing or doing any tackling? Was it worth the risk, or did you doubt whether it would be out or not?
I would. First of all, you got to know the person. So I've known Cooper for 11 months now. So, so the first thing is, and then you go, okay. Then you read the person when he's telling you. So when Cooper says I'm okay, he's okay. If he says I'm not okay, I'm not. He's not going to be okay. You don't have to sort of read all these other things in it. Is he saying what he's actually meaning and all that with Cooper? What he says he means. So the risk. It wasn't a risk. We had two different plans, and Cooper's never a risk. And we were ready for if it didn't work out, we were ready to jump into that as well. Everybody was ready.
What was plan B, Trent?
Plan B was, I said it before, Plan B was the double bluff of Mitchell Orbison was going to defend 3 on the left, 3 on the right. Isaac Liu was going to play right edge back row. But Mitchell Orbison was going to play like Cooper did on short sides. And Luke was going to run the game with Teddy, and our centres were going to move as an extra pivot from left to right. So our centres were going to take a fair bit of load and run extra plays. Latrell was going to kick on the left. All of this, the boys went, sweet, we're going to do all this. We knew it all, and we also knew if Cooper wasn't going to get there, that was going to be the case within the game.
You mentioned Luke then, all right, I was trying to Clive Churchill Medalist. How big was his performance?
Well, I said in the change rooms, his performance was big on Sunday morning. We were really honest, not with you guys, but with the players. Sunday morning, we knew the rotator cuff was a good way for us to have if we said it was a fractured scapula, it was pretty obvious that he either wasn't going to play, and there wasn't sort of gradings, whereas the rotator cuff was a certain range. So we said, we're going to say it's a rotator cuff so people don't know, but this is exactly what's happened to Cooper, and this is what it's going to take. Luke got his head on straight away. Sometimes I'd have to go and say, okay, let's talk about how are you going, all that. Honestly, he was a man possessed from Monday onwards about, we're going to do this, I'm going to do this way. He wouldn't hear about, he was ready for when Cooper played, but he wasn't going, Coops, are you going to play? We are going to play this way, we're going to do this. He won that Clive Churchill medal sometime on Sunday night in his own head. That's when he won it.
People wanted to make it half performance.
Yeah, it was an outstanding performance. I room with him every week, and we talk a lot about football and mentalities. And I think someone asked a question at media day on Monday about me if I'm playing or not. And I think got back to me that the answer was I don't care if Cooper's not playing. That's a bit aggressive, but it just showed that where his mindset was at. And I have to give the senior players and the coaching staff one hell of a rap too, because to be able to design a thing and then a half step in place and take over it, as Robbo said, he owned it. and he played the game of his life tonight. It was all set up for him. I was basically going to be running a decoy on the opposite side of the field, and he took it, he ran with it, and he was outstanding. He was tough, he had a high skill set, and he just wanted it. He just didn't hesitate. He saw something and he went for it.
Luke, was that the best game of your life? Given the stage and big week?
Oh, it's a big statement. I don't know. I'll have to rewatch it.
Did it feel good,
Yeah, feel good. Obviously, I'm honestly stoked for every single person that's involved with this team. From our list of 30 or 35 blokes that train with us since November, and every single person that's put any time and effort into us, I'm just so happy for every single person in that dressing room.
Luke, Robert talks about how confident you were last Sunday, and you said, care if you the plays, but privately, inside yourself, was there any point during the week where you felt that way, or the pressure and expectation of what burden yourself?
Not really. I think I think just the environment that I'm in, surrounded Jake and Boyd. Obviously, he was still there, still a chance, but I knew the situation, and we'd worked so hard to get there that I think I said it, excuse my language, but we got all the way to this week, and you don't shit yourself because one bloke got hurt. You go out and get the job done, and I knew that if he wasn't there, what I had to do, and if he was there, what I had to do. So his presence was underestimated tonight. It's hard to explain how he makes you feel on the field, and what he does to a team's mentality.
Did you grow a couple of feet out there with him through the traffic, telling you where to go and what to do that? Sorry, yeah. Look,
Yeah, me.
Yeah,
Well,
Did you feel
I think
confident? because-
obviously Coops. I think the bloke sitting to me right had a big part of it too. Honestly, these two basically directed the boys through the whole night. You wouldn't notice it watching, but we had specific points on the field we wanted to get to help my kicking game, and obviously to exploit things we thought we could in Melbourne. So, the bloke sitting to me right was massive through that. The bloke sitting to me left, we all know what he does.
Hey, what's it like working through that dynamic with the squad when all of that's going on through the week and then through the game as well?
No, I think for Coops to have his part and to do what he did, there was hours of treatment, and he just never said, never whinged, never, he was always good. He was always never been better, which is his favourite saying. And he just did his role, but still influenced the group in the way from Sunday to today to win that final, even with all the stuff he was doing. And then for him to do his role, Luke turned up, and his role was to get himself ready for Cooper if he wasn't there. And he went about that, and he got his arrogant head on, and he did his thing at training, and both of them, were a big part of, influencing the boys into a win early in the week. It doesn't just, you can't just turn up tonight and that happens. You build that during the week, and I think they played a big part, as did some of the senior boys, and the coaching staff obviously laid out a plan for us that worked. And I think for us as a group to be able to go after that and deal with it says a lot about our group, and I'm very proud of them.
How much coaching did the blokes on your left do before the game and during the game?
Well, before the game, like a lot of people don't get an insight into how a team runs. We do a lot of the planning work early in the week, obviously design trainings, and these guys take over late in the week about, okay, we've got all our information, this is how we're going to play. And they've been incredible. The amount that they've adapted. We changed the game plan after 8 weeks. Not one complaint, nothing, just went, rightio, let's get on with it, let's next step. We were a tight bunch. Most of you would know that when you hear grumbles within a team, and there was a lot of talk about us, but we've been so tight throughout the year, and it's because of the senior guys and their control. They're all workers. I don't know if you notice, Jake Boyd, Jared, Coops, Orbo, Teddy, Luke, and Isaac Liu. They're high quality people that just work hard. So they wouldn't accept, I'm not feeling good or I'm not doing this. So they take over late in the week, and then on the field, honestly, to send out different messages at different times. But these guys have developed. This guy's developed incredibly this year. The leadership. Nugget's been maligned this year. I can't believe it. The talk that's been about him. He's got the biggest heart running around at hooker, and what he does. It's just we get to watch it every week. And Boyd Cordner, and then we've added Cooper. That's just made us all improve as coaches and players. We've seen how it's done, and we've all improved because of it. So, coaching is very different to what it was a long time ago. Coaching's about developing players to coach other players. It's about a big sort of team performance, and that's what's happened. There's a lot that goes into it from lots of people.
Jake, can you talk about, when we mentioned that obviously the year you've had in medicine, where you had those battles early on in the year, I guess, with fans or criticism. Can you talk about your emotions and, I guess, how rewarding is after all that to, achieve what you've done?
I think for myself, it was never, obviously I wasn't playing great, and I admitted that. I spoke to Rob about that, and it was about working hard, which is what I know. And I know if I worked hard with these two and the rest of the team, eventually I would play myself into form. And it helps when you got players like we do, not only these two, but a squad. Whether it's 17 out there or the 30 or so that are at training every day, they push you to be better. I think that's probably why we're here now. And I wasn't going to accept my form at the time, and I went about it, and that's it.
Can you describe your emotion? You came off for 2 minutes to go, had a quiet moment with Robbo, everything you've been through with the injury, then the win, and then going into consoling Billy Slater and the team got on the grand final with last year?
Yeah, I suppose the silver lining of the week was that I had an injury and you didn't ask too many questions about the opposition and all the emotions, so that was a plus. It actually worked in my favour because at no stage do I ever emotionally get caught up in the storylines or what was about. It was honestly my next ice session, my next massage, and every day got a little bit better. Then we had a backward step, then we took a couple forward. So I'm glad in that regard, but it's a funny thing because the club, Melbourne Storm, have played a massive part in me being the player and the person I am today. So I'm completely humbled and grateful for that. But then the Roosters organisation have allowed me to have the two loves in terms of starting a family and play the game that I love here. So I just suppose I'm one of the luckiest players to ever lace on a boot, to have two clubs, two organisations with good people that create better people and then better football as well. So the emotion was, it was there, but it got sort of put on the back burner because of the injury. So I'm half glad that was the case.
How does it compare to win a premiership with the Roosters opposed to the ones that you won?
How does it compare?
Yeah, I think you asked that the other day.
It doesn't. They're the same. Anyone who gets the opportunity to stand on the dais at the last day of the NRL calendar as a winner is truly, it's a special feeling, and it takes a lot of work. It does. You got to sacrifice. You got to work hard, and if you get the opportunity to do it, it's great. And for me, I've been fortunate enough to have a couple of moments like that, and my inspiration now is to create moments for other people. I look at Blake Ferguson, who has a smile from ear to ear because he's just achieved one of the things that he's dreamed of since he was a 6-year-old. I've got Joey Manu, who is very quiet and reserved, but he's carrying on like a lunatic in there because he's just won a grand final for the first time. That is cool. That is really special for, these guys are a little bit older as well, but they've both won one. So it's really special to create moments for other people, and you do get a kick out of it.
Luke, you won one with the Rabbitohs in 2014, and you won obviously the Clive Churchill Medal. How does that compare for you?
Oh, like Coops, they're different, mate. Obviously, I was pretty young back then too, so I think I said it this week. Been through a lot more this time. Like I've had me lows and highs and stuff like that, but to do it at this club with the history of this club, the people in the organisation, the players, the staff, everyone involved. Yeah, it's special. It's honestly really special, and yeah, to see blokes in there like Nick, the board, and all our staff, and even the boys that blokes like Lindsay Collins and that who missed out tonight. Yeah, this one's really special.
Cooper, after full-time team celebrating, you sat on the bench by yourself for a while. Was that because of the pain, or did you sort of feel not right celebrating?
No, I was bloody exhausted. That's why I couldn't stand up. I couldn't get off. Yeah, I suppose it was just a moment to stop and chill out because my head was doing backflips for the majority of the week.
Did you feel weird at all at any stage? I know you say it's a special feeling with Tom, but when you were, involved in your teammates, last year, that was you celebrating?
I suppose you've got to be really unemotional about it. You can't let it get to you because otherwise it creeps in your performance and things like that. I suppose the one thing I can say now is that two guys who finished their careers today in the opposition, Billy Slater and Ryan Hoffman, are two guys that I've shared a lot of good moments on the field, even better moments off the field in terms of kids and marriage and things like that. And if I can take the opportunity just to thank them for their contribution to rugby league and to my life, because they made me a better player. There's no doubt about that. Ryan Hoffman ran some lead lines for me for a long time, made me look better than I am. And Slater, he made me look amazing with some of the things that he did. So tonight's a special night for this group, but I'd like to just pay a lot of respect and admiration for those two.
Did you enjoy the week? Because from the outside, that a lot of people say the sling, and you walked to the press with your arms moving around, was all the fear of the watch.
I remember walking in that press conference thinking, how am I going to show that this is all right? And walked through the door and just started swinging my arms around. No, I didn't enjoy the week. I think the one thing I had going in my favour was, honestly, I did take it day by day, minute by minute. I didn't really think about what Sunday looked like. I got to Friday and started thinking about it because I had to start mentally preparing. But you do have a lot of support off the field, and the medical staff at the Roosters. Wow, this today is not possible without the effort that they did. Like, if I was to explain the hours that they put in to my shoulder, research, treatment, there's not enough hours in the day, to be honest with you. They were sensational.
Can I just, we haven't talked about Melbourne as a club either and as a team. They're just, we've obviously, Cooper talked about, we were lucky enough to experience sort of a player that's come out of their system in Cooper. But they've got one of the greatest coaches of all time sort of coaching there, and we got to play the two best teams in the competition tonight, and it's obviously tough for them. I wouldn't want to be in their situation, but there's a reason why those two clubs were in the grand final, and I was really proud to play Melbourne Storm. It was fitting that we played Melbourne Storm, and I think it's hard. You walk into a week and all of a sudden you automatically dislike the opposition. There's a hate that goes there straight away, but there's a huge amount of respect for what they do and the way that they do it, and they're an impressive group. So commiserations, but we want to lead the way, but I know they're leading the way as well.
What was the first thing Nick said to you, Robert?
Don't know. It was a bit of a blur, all of that, but Nick. He's a great man, and his contribution to the Roosters and rugby league is unparalleled at our club, and it's so good to see a man like that win a comp. It's so good to see a man like that, and I obviously owe a lot to him. He's shown a lot of faith in me, and there's a great bond there, and that he's one of the first guys he's the first guy I think about when we won. He deserves this. He's a great man. Thanks.